Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, so just got through watching the Rick James documentary. Very entertaining. It's on Showtime, and it talks about basically the come ups of Rick James, the evolution of Rick James, what made him become Rick James, what made him become the person that we all knew and loved as a musician, and to a certain degree a person. He was very charismatic, and he was very outspoken from basically everything. And it basically tells you a lot about Rick James, some of the stuff he went through. Of course, him being born in 1948. He talks about the racism he experienced. Also him, you know, quote unquote, being a draft dodger, where basically he ran to Canada for years, and then when he came back, they threw him in jail for. It looked like they threw him in jail for a couple of years, because he didn't want to go fighting in Vietnam, and then again, I don't blame him. And it just talks about the madness behind some of the genius records that he made. I mean, you learn a lot about Rick James in this documentary. Now, as you guys know, there been a Rick James movie that's been in development, or they've been trying to get made. And, Rick James went through something traumatic when he was very young. Rick James was, he was raped when he was very young by a woman. So, once again, something that, that I tell you that goes on with men, you know, but, never, nevertheless, nevertheless, you just learn a lot about Rick James in this documentary. It has interviews with Ice Cube, Roxanne Shante, actual members of the Stone City Band, his former manager, who happened to be Barry Gordy's son, what happened with him in Motown, basically why he left Motown to go to Warner Brothers. So it's really good. And I'm going to talk about later on why it may be very difficult, or it's going to be next to difficult, or should I say impossible, to get a Rick James, film made that will really tell and identify with who Rick James was because of modern times. And, I'll talk about that later on. But yes, you can go to Showtime on demand and watch this documentary. I all but guarantee you will enjoy it. Once you start watching it, you will watch the entire film. It runs close to 2 hours, but it based off the stories and interviews from people that actually knew Rick James, it will keep you interested throughout the film. You will not lose interest. The more you watch, the more you will learn about Rick James. And it was just more to him than just, when he passed away, when basically his very last appearance on the BET Awards, where he basically said, "I'm Rick James, bitch." And everybody jumped up laughing. But, it was just much more to him than that. Beyond the drugs, beyond the music, he was a very complicated person. So if you watch this, you will have a better understanding of who Rick James is. Anyway, this your boy Tail Biz. I'm out.